We have always had to fight to keep from moving backwards. The forces of exploitation and oppression will always have more money. The counter that we have is people power.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Well, since we talked about going back to the basics, if you are a person who is upset at the state of the world, what can you do? So I wanted to just share some thoughts, take a moment of personal privilege to address that. And when we look at the conditions in which we're living, you don't need me to tell you that we face crisis upon crisis upon crisis. It's easy to look at these conditions and follow the news and feel discouraged, depressed, angry, anxious, or alienated. The forces of exploitation and oppression are counting on us being paralyzed by these feelings. To borrow from Jesse Jackson, they win by the margin of our despair, by the margin of the fracture of our coalition. So never forget that there are people in this world, in this country, in this state, and in your community who believe we can and must do better. Perhaps the most profound lesson of American history is that change comes from the bottom up. And we, the people, have had to organize and fight for every inch of progress. And not only do everyday working people have to fight to move us forward, we have always had to fight to keep from moving backwards. The forces of exploitation and oppression will always have more money, more force, more structural power. The counter that we have is people power. We have to look back at the movements of the 60s, the 30s, the turn of the century, and examine the ways they built and exercised people power. The challenge now and for the future is to build an organized, diverse working class movement of our own that can grow and use the people power necessary for a better world. So what can you do and how? The most simple answer is we do something together. Everyone listening right now has something to contribute to the movement, whether it's your time, your energy, your skills, or your donations. But do it collectively. If you're listening, I bet you have at least one person in your life who at least has the potential to be a comrade in the struggle. Someone you will fight for, someone who will fight for you, and someone who will join you in fighting for folks y'all don't even know. Now, on this show, we believe the labor movement is the key component. So we encourage everyone to get involved in organizing at the workplace, strengthening and reforming your unions, and of course, establishing new unions. Make that list of your coworkers and start having one-on-one conversations. But we can't stop there. We have to keep going. Maybe you're interested in mutual aid. Maybe you're interested in electoral campaigns and get out the vote efforts. Maybe you're interested in policy reform and advocacy. Maybe you're interested in popular education and training. Maybe you're interested in protests and other forms of direct action. Or maybe you're interested in community and issue-based organizing. I'm not going to tell you where or how you should do something, just that you should do it and do it together with others. Because there are good people doing good work on all of those fronts, and they all need more help. With that in mind, I wanted to share some ideas on where to get started. If you are a worker and not a boss, you can join the IWW, Industrial Workers of the World. That's an easy way to get involved in the labor movement, regardless of whether unions exist in your area or industry. DSA in North Alabama is trying to establish a chapter here and could use some folks. And the Birmingham DSA chapter has been doing some really good work punching above their weight. United Women of Color and the Citizens Coalition for Justice Reform are doing important work on criminal justice issues here in Huntsville. The Tennessee Valley Progressive Alliance is a network of local activists and organizers. And in fact, they actually have a meeting coming up Wednesday night at 5:30 at the downtown Huntsville Library, if you want to put that on your calendar. Hometown Action, friends of the show, they are organizing at the state and local level across Alabama with an emphasis on rural communities. The Huntsville Bail Fund is a critical resource for our local activist movement, particularly considering the riot police that we have to deal with here in Huntsville. NASO, the North Alabama School for Organizers, offers local training and conducts mutual aid. And then there are some nonprofits in Alabama that are doing some really important work that could always use volunteers and, of course, donations. Personally, I'm a proud member of Alabama Arise, which does a variety of advocacy and policy work, particularly around poverty. Alabama Coalition for Immigrant Justice and the Adelante Worker Center are doing important work. There's our legal friends at Alabama Appleseed. There's Energy Alabama and GASP doing important environmental work. And these were just some of the ones off the top of my head. I know that I'm leaving some out, and I'm sure there are plenty more. Find organizations you can support. Find activities you can get involved in. Find strike funds and causes you can donate to. And most importantly, grow your network of comrades. A better world is possible, but only when we come together and organize a movement that can fight for it.
I definitely want to second all of that. It's so important to understand that politics is not consumption, is not, entertainment. It's not who your favorite, Twitch streamer is or debate bro or whatever. It's not even your favorite politician. Politics properly understood is what you're doing in your community to make it better, to make your life better, to make the life of your sisters and brothers on the job and in the community better. That's what politics is. And you can be as pure as you want as far as understanding, Rawlsian or Marxist theory. But having ideas in your head isn't enough. You've got to go and do something. Faith without works is dead. So go out and do some works.
Amen.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.